You were more than the world ever saw. Those words, shared quietly by Nicole Linders, carry a weight that statistics, trophies, and headlines never could. They are not shouted, they are not staged, and they are not meant for attention. They are simply the truth of someone who knew Greg Biffle beyond the roar of engines and the glare of stadium lights. Long before any official farewell, before schedules or announcements, Nicole's tribute has already shaped how many people are remembering him. Nicole Linders was not just part of Greg Biffle's past, she was part of his foundation. Their story began long before the peak years of NASCAR fame. After nearly a decade of being together, they married in 2007, at a time when Greg's career was gaining momentum and his name was becoming more recognizable on the national stage. Through those years, Nicole witnessed the pressure, the discipline, and the sacrifices that racing demanded. She saw the victories celebrated by crowds and the disappointments absorbed in silence, even after their marriage ended. The bond between them did not simply vanish. They shared children, shared history, and shared experiences that cannot be erased by time or change. That is why Nicole's words now resonate so deeply. They come from someone who stood beside Greg during some of his most defining years, both personally and professionally, to fans. Greg Biffle is often remembered in moments frozen in time, like standing on the grid beside the number 44 Grambling State University Chevrolet during qualifying for the 64th annual Daytona 500 in February 2022.com. Focused and composed, he looked exactly like what he was known to be. A seasoned competitor who had earned his place through years of relentless effort. That image represents a career filled with Cup Series wins and a championship in what is now known as the Xfinity Series. Accomplishments that secured his legacy in motorsports history. But Nicole's tribute shifts the focus away from those public moments. She does not speak about championships or lap times. She remembers the man who returned home after the races, the father who tried to balance a demanding career with family life, and the partner who carried responsibility quietly. In her remembrance, Greg is not defined by speed or success, but by presence. When reports emerged about a devastating plane crash in North Carolina, the news sent shockwaves through the NASCAR community and beyond. According to early information, the tragedy claimed the lives of Greg Biffle, Nicole Linders, and their 2 young children, including their daughter Emma Elizabeth. Investigations are still ongoing, and many details remain unclear. What is clear is the scale of loss and the suddenness with which multiple lives were taken, in the absence of complete answers. People have turned to memory. They have turned to stories, photographs, and reflections. Nicole's tribute has become central to this process, not because it is dramatic, but because it is human. Her words do not try to explain what cannot be explained. They simply acknowledge love, shared years, and the pain of absence. Those close to Nicole describe her tribute as quiet and deeply personal. There has been no attempt to frame it for public reaction. Instead, it reflects a woman remembering someone who played many roles in her life. A partner during formative years, a co-parent, a man whose journey she witnessed from near the beginning. Her reflections have reminded people that behind every public figure is a private world that rarely receives attention until it is gone. Greg Biffle's career demanded focus, travel, and constant pressure. Yet within that life, there were moments of normalcy that only family could truly see. Nicole's tribute brings those moments into focus without exposing them. Much of the emotion surrounding this story comes from what has not yet been said publicly. There is a silence that hangs over the racing world, a pause where people are processing the loss without formal closure. In that silence, Nicole's words feel even heavier. They stand alone, not competing with speeches or ceremonies, but existing as a personal truth. She remembered Greg not as a legend, but as a person who tried to be present, tried to provide, tried to manage expectations both on and off the track. That perspective has shifted the way many fans now talk about him. The conversation has moved beyond results and records, toward character and humanity. The mention of their children, especially Emma Elizabeth, has added another layer of heartbreak. For Nicole, Greg was not only a former husband or a public figure. He was the father of her children. Her tribute reflects that reality. It speaks of shared responsibility, shared hopes, and shared dreams that were centered on family, not fame. Within the NASCAR community, reactions have been subdued but deeply emotional. Former teammates, competitors, and industry insiders have shared memories that align closely with Nicole's portrayal. They describe Greg as disciplined, respectful, and quietly determined. A driver who did not chase attention, but earned respect. That consistency between public reputation and private memory is rare. And it has made Nicole's tribute feel even more authentic. It confirms what many suspected but never fully saw. Greg Biffle was the same person in private that he appeared to be in public, steady, focused, and grounded. As time passes and investigations continue, the absence left behind remains heavy. There is no rush to move forward, no need to fill the silence. Nicole's words have already done what they needed to do. They have reminded people that grief does not need an audience to be real, and love does not need an ending to be meaningful. Her tribute is not about closure. It is about recognition. Recognition of a shared life, shared responsibility, and shared history that extended far beyond racing schedules and media coverage. It acknowledges that even when paths diverge, the impact of a person does not disappear. Greg Biffle's legacy will always include his achievements on the track. That part of his story is secure and well documented. But because of Nicole Linders' tribute, his legacy now also includes something quieter and perhaps more enduring. The memory of a man who mattered deeply to the people closest to him. In moments like these, public attention often focuses on what comes next: announcements, timelines, and official statements. Yet this story has unfolded differently. It has slowed people down. It has encouraged reflection rather than reaction. Nicole's tribute has played a significant role in that shift. She did not try to define Greg's life for the world. She simply shared how he existed in hers. That honesty has allowed others to reflect on their own memories. Whether as fans, colleagues, or friends, as the racing world continues to wait and reflect, one thing has already become clear. Greg Biffle is being remembered not only for how fast he drove, but for how deeply he was connected to those around him. Nicole Linders' tribute ensures that this part of his story will not be lost. Sometimes, the most powerful goodbyes are not delivered at podiums or through microphones. They are spoken quietly, carried through memory, and felt rather than heard. Nicole's words have done exactly that, shaping remembrance before any formal farewell ever arrives.